Question number 2, Lee. This is from the owner of a law firm. Now, this is quite interesting, this one. For 30 years, our law firm has operated on a traditional schedule with solicitors and staff expected to be in the office from 9 till 6, sometimes later. However, we're facing mounting pressures, particularly from our junior associates and support staff, to offer more flexible working hours. While I recognise the potential benefits of flexible working, I have concerns about its impact on our practice. For example, client expectations, court schedules, and the collaborative nature of our work. This person does definitely write like a solicitor. A collaborative nature of our work often requires in-person meetings and immediate availability. I'm worried that flexible hours could lead to missed opportunities, communication gaps, or a decline in the quality of our service. Moreover, and this is the key bit, Lee, some of our senior partners are resistant to this change, citing concerns about supervision and mentoring of younger staff. Can I successfully implement a more flexible work environment without compromising our high standards? I'm keen to modernise, but I want to make sure that any changes we make will benefit both our staff and our clients, and I'm guessing the senior partners. Tough one, Lee.
Yes, a lot wrapped up in there. And I think it's particularly tricky in a more traditional profession, such as law. There's, been a way things have been done for a very long time. I think, first of all, and again, and it's just these questions lead nicely to some previous guests we've had. In terms of a bit of inspiration, go back and listen to Jodie from Thrive Law.
Oh, yeah.
I'll leave a link in the show notes. She has completely disrupted what it is to lead a law firm, to work in a law firm. They work flexibly, they work remotely. There is many different things that they do using technology, using intention in terms of where people are, when they need to collaborate. Do go and have a listen to that, because I think it will help you maybe just start to look towards a different mindset of how things can work. In terms of the senior partners, nobody likes change, but as an older person, I really don't like change because it's kind of harder to adjust to, and you feel a bit more energy needs to be invested into it because it is a bit harder to learn new things as we get older. So yeah, and that's understandable. People don't like change, but what they won't like is the ambiguity and the lack of clarity around the change. It sounds like at the minute you're asking lots of questions and what ifs, and what your senior partners probably really want is, this is what we're going to do, this is how it's going to work, these are some of the problems I've identified, these are some of the solutions I want to discuss with you. Let's pick it apart and see if we can make this work. They want to be brought into the change, and they want that clarity at the same time. Finally, I think, flexible working is, as we've heard, it is becoming more and more of a legal right. You'll know, you're in law in the UK. So it might be that at some point your hand is going to be twisted into making this work, whether it be for a member of staff or an entire team, or indeed the whole organisation. So I think it's modernisation that has to happen. I think you know that, to have got it to this point of the conversation that it is. One thing I think to look at is that there always seems to be this thought that it's one or the other. It can be somewhere in between. You could have core working hours where everyone needs to be online and available between 10 and 4. Aside from that, or 11 and 3, whatever you, as I suggest, employee consultation is important in this. Whatever's going to work for the business, for its customers. I don't think your customers, your clients are going to be as bothered as you think they are, as long as there's always going to be somebody that they can get hold of. It might be the case you have people on call who are available between 8 and 10 and 5 and 8. There's loads of different ways of looking at it to give people the flexibility that they want from their lives and will appreciate in their work, and also making sure that the business needs are met, the client needs are met. So I think, start with that episode with Thrive Law, Jodie Hill, have a listen to her, maybe even pick up a conversation with her. I'm sure she would love to chat to you about what she's been doing at Thrive. I would then start to talk to your partners about, okay, well, what are the non-negotiables? You said something about court schedules, maybe they're, set in stone. Where are the days perhaps that we could have a bit more flexibility? What if we did have core working hours? What benefit do you think we'll see as an organisation by having flexible working? It could be that actually, as an office, you're open longer throughout the day, where people are actually working less or more flexibly within that. There could be lots of different perks. So I think it's one of those things that you sounds like you want to do. It sounds like modernisation is coming, whether we like it or not. And I think it's within your gift to just explore and experiment. And I think, as you all said, you always say it's not a one-way door or something.
Yeah, that's the Jeff Bezos. It's a one-way door. You can implement change And he wants it a two-way door where you can wind that change back if it doesn't really work. And I think that's an important thing, and something which I'm guessing lawyers particularly would not consider anything being a two-way door, because they're always thinking there's a cost to winding something back or going back on yourself. But actually these things, yeah, you can do that. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, absolutely. And I think that's the thing. Look at it like a pilot. Once you come up with a structure or a schedule that you think is going to work, pilot it for a couple of weeks, see what works, what breaks, if it's even possible, and give it a good chance, an honest chance when you do that. The only thing you mentioned there that is a tricky thing to consider is your senior partner's concerns around mentoring, supervising, developing younger talent. Yes, that is much more challenging in remote hybrid environments without intentionality. It could be that, again, it's just these core hours, so that senior partners and junior partners, or junior associates, is that what you call them, are always in the office between 10 and 3, Tuesdays and Thursdays, always. So there's that opportunity for that spontaneous conversation, but there's also some intentional sessions in there as well. It just requires a bit more organization. We can't be lazy as leaders anymore in a world with flexible and remote working. There needs to be more intention. And actually, I think with that intention, we'll become better leaders for it, because we're being more mindful of what our people need and when they need it.
Well said. I think if you could create the right schedule, like the previous answer, create the right environment, create the right schedule that works for a lot of people, do it on a consultative basis with the rest of your team. And in terms of supervision, I mean, I know supervision is a legal term, so I know you probably don't mean they want to supervise them, literally supervise them, like in Suits, but Lewis Litt. But if someone is of a younger generation, they want to do well, they will make time for this mentorship. So I don't think you need to worry too much about that, because if someone doesn't make time for mentorship, then they clearly don't want to be there. And also, there's the potential mistakes and potential costs are going to be tiny compared to when this younger generation goes, screw this, I'm out of here. This is rubbish. I'm going to go and work for Jody Hill at Thrive Law, because that is a much better place to work.
Definitely. And I think that's the final thing to say is that, supervision can be done online. I think face-to-face is really important for development, and I think it needs to be a part of the development plan. But I was supervised throughout my chartership remotely. My coaching is supervised remotely. We are offered coaching from HubSpot for our podcast, and our community manager has office hours every few weeks, a couple of hours, and we'll just pop in if we have a question, and some other people will as well, and we'll have a chat. And so there's lots of different ways to play with, to try to experiment. The days of the office, even in law firms, strictly in the office, I think are getting further and further away from the future of work. So it's time to innovate.